I had been dating a pure and innocent female college student for almost half a year. I spent nearly 700,000 yuan on her. Yet she not only didn't dare introduce me to her friends, she even pretended to be single online, acting like a rich socialite heiress, all just because I was 10 years older than her. She thought I was old, until one day, my girlfriend forgot to turn off her voice chat. I overheard her campus beauty bestie making comments about me. She said, 10 years older. Even dogs wouldn't get into this kind of relationship. So I instantly remembered that cold and aloof voice. Later, on an ordinary evening, that same campus beauty stopped my car and begged me for help. I said, I can help you, but first you'll have to be a dog. The campus beauty froze. At that moment, the naive beauty still didn't know. The day she'd be ravaged by an older guy was already near. Chapter 1. I was on a video call with Willow for 10 minutes. She already grew impatient. She said, Daddy, I'm sleepy. Let's stop here today. Before I could reply, she quickly hung up the video, but forgot to disconnect the voice chat. I heard her talking to someone. Maria, hurry and log in. I found a game booster, a little bro who sends six-pack photos. Her roommate teased. Willow, if being in a relationship is this exhausting, why don't you just break up? Willow replied, that's just how he is. Even though we're clearly incompatible, he sticks to me like glue, like some shameless simp, and I can't shake him off no matter what. Nonsense. Clearly she was the one unwilling to break up, because she couldn't bear to lose my money. I poured myself a glass of wine and kept listening. Willow's roommate kept laughing at her. You refused to let us meet him. Did you find yourself some rich old guy? Willow didn't deny it. The game started. Willow invited the booster into the team. The booster was skilled at providing emotional value, constantly finding topics to make Willow laugh, praising her sweet voice again and again. Willow laughed with joy and said she would tip the booster a chicken leg. Of course, using the allowance I gave her. After the match ended, the booster happily went off to bed. Once he logged out, the dorm's topic returned to me again. Someone suddenly said, Anna, what do you think? The other replied, think about what? She's asking what you think of Willow dating an older guy who's 10 years her senior. There was silence for 2 seconds. Then a cold, aloof voice rang out. 10 years older. Even dogs wouldn't get into this kind of relationship. Chapter 2. To be honest, I'm voice controlled. Back then, among so many college girls, I chose Willow simply because her voice was sweet. But right now, I was distracted. Anna, I remembered this person. Willow's roommate, said to be the campus beauty of their school, noble, aloof, and surrounded by endless suitors. Whenever Willow mentioned her, she could never hide the jealousy in her tone. Anna had excellent grades and outstanding looks. Wherever she went, she was the center of attention. Standing beside her, Willow was nothing but a foil. Yet Anna came from a poor family. Willow's pride wouldn't allow her to be overshadowed by someone poor. I hadn't expected Anna to be the owner of that cold, enticing voice, a voice I liked even more than Willow's. I imagined her moaning. It would surely sound better. I cut off the voice chat, already forming a plan. If my little girlfriend refused to behave, then I would simply switch. Chapter 3. I like dating college girls. First, because work keeps me busy, and I need some emotional value. Second, because they're young and pretty. The youth of their bodies is addictive, including Willow. I've dated 12 college girls. I could practically form a girl group out of them. I've never been stingy about spending money on these little sisters. During the past 6 months with Willow, I spent nearly 700,000 yuan. Her whole wardrobe of luxury brands, all bought by me. That money was crucial for her. It let her pose as a rich socialite on WeChat. And it earned her plenty of envy from classmates. But for me, it was just the cost of not buying another watch. I paid the money. She provided the companionship, fair trade. What I hadn't expected was that the obedient Willow I saw in front of me despised me so much behind my back. That was fine. I was tired of her anyway. On the weekend, it was Willow's birthday. She held her birthday party at my villa. I didn't arrive until 9 in the evening. The party had been going for a while and was lively. Willow lost a game and was punished to do push-ups with a boy, but not ordinary push-ups. Willow lay beneath the boy, shyly covering her face. Each time he came down, he nearly kissed her. The whole room started chanting, "Kiss her, kiss her." Trash. Are you even man enough? A man can't admit he's not. Provoked, the boy lowered himself especially close on the final push-up. He was about to kiss her. That was the moment I opened the villa door and saw the scene. Chapter 4. Everyone fell silent. Curiosity fixed on me. Willow froze. The flush on her face gradually drained away. She pushed the boy aside and stammered, You, why are you here? I frowned and said, This is my house. Why wouldn't I come? She bit her lip. Didn't you say you had to work overtime tonight? I replied, Overtime's finished. I came to celebrate your birthday. I dropped my coat and walked inside casually. Someone whispered, "Willow, isn't this house yours?" Another chimed in, "Yeah, you said your parents gave you this place." Willow pressed her lips together and guiltily said, He's my brother." I smiled, and didn't deny it. Chapter 5. College students usually don't have bad intentions. After Willow's words, they warmly made room for me. The girl beside Willow scolded her. "Willow, you never mentioned you had a brother before." Another girl whispered, "Yeah, Willow, why is your brother so handsome? Quick, introduce him to me." Willow rolled her eyes. "Seriously, I treat you as my bestie, and you want to become my sister-in-law?" A male classmate said, "Bro, there's an empty seat here. Do you smoke? Want a cigarette?" I waved my hand. "No need, thanks." After I sat down, I glanced at Anna. She didn't get along with Willow. Willow invited her today purely to show off. Anna was squeezed into a corner, not interacting with anyone. And she seemed uninterested in everything. I joined their king's game. And soon the king called my name. The king demanded that I choose one of the girls present for a safe kiss. A so-called safe kiss meant kissing for 10 seconds through a playing card. Willow looked at me, conflicted. She neither wanted to admit our relationship, nor did she want to see me choose another girl, as she hesitated endlessly. My gaze passed right over her, and landed on Anna. I smiled and said, "You then." Chapter 6. Willow suddenly stood up. She frowned and said, "No, you can't." I replied casually, "Why not?" She pouted willfully. "You can't choose her. I'll do the punishment with you." I gave her a look of disgust and said, "Willow, what are you talking about? You're my sister. How could we do something that gross?" Someone whispered, "Exactly. She's acting so weird. Don't tell me she's got a brother complex." Everyone chimed in, saying they couldn't accept that. I sneered inside, but pretended to be helpless. "No way, little sis. Mom and Dad would kill us." Willow's face twisted into a wonderful expression. After all, it was her lie. Now it was too late for her to explain. Anna stayed silent the whole time, until someone pushed her in front of me. The girl lifted her eyelids, her voice cold as she said, "You're not Willow's brother." She lowered her voice so only I could hear. "You're her boyfriend," I replied. "So you figured that out, smart girl." I smiled, meeting her gaze. Then I asked, "So, interested in getting to know each other?" Anna gave a soft, disdainful snort. "I'm not interested in older guys," I answered. "That's fine. What matters is, I'm interested in you." Anna was momentarily stunned. By then, I had already picked up the playing card and pressed it to her lips. Before she could react, I leaned in and kissed her. Chapter 7. Willow, from now on Anna is your sister-in-law. After the game ended, everyone started teasing like that. Willow pressed her lips tightly together. Her gaze turned gloomy, darting back and forth between Anna and me. Then, as if in revenge, she deliberately acted very close to the guy doing push-ups. She even drank a cross-cupped wine with him. She thought this would make me bow my head. Too naive. Willow still didn't realize. In this relationship, she had no say at all. As soon as the birthday party was over, I directly told Willow we were breaking up. Willow flew into a rage out of shame. She snapped. "George, you did this on purpose tonight, didn't you? You knew I hate Anna the most." I shrugged and said, "You can play games with others, and I can play games with your roommate. Sounds fair to me." She shook her head and explained, "It's not like that. That guy is my senior. I've always had some social anxiety, and there were so many guys I didn't know at the party. He was afraid someone might take advantage of me, so he stepped up. He was just looking out for me. It's not what you think." I sneered. "Don't insult people who actually have social anxiety. Would someone with social anxiety host a party? Would they lie under a guy in front of everyone? Come on, have a little shame." Willow pressed her lips together and stayed silent. I coldly laughed. "Do you even think before you talk? Just looking out for you. Looking out so much that you were about to kiss him. So it's not that you were afraid someone might take advantage of you. It's just that you wanted the one taking advantage to be him." She bit her lip and said, "George, stop projecting your dirty thoughts onto my senior." Looking at Willow, I couldn't connect this girl with the obedient one she had been at the start. She hadn't suddenly turned bad. She had just hidden it well in the beginning. I said, "Then go ahead and let him keep looking after you." She asked, "What do you mean?" I replied, "It means we're breaking up." Willow froze for a second, then quickly laughed. She asked, "You're trying to threaten me with a breakup?" She gave a cold snort and said, "You know that doesn't work on me." I impatiently said, "Whether it works on you isn't my concern." Security. As soon as I spoke, several security guards rushed in and threw Willow out. I said, "You threw a party in my room without permission and made a mess. I won't hold you accountable this time, but if there's a next time, I'll call the police and take legal action." Willow bit her lip. "How dare you treat me like this?" I cut her off, speaking carelessly. "Do you know what happens when I call the police?" I continued. It'll be reported to your school. Even if your counselor wants to cover it up, it won't work. I'll make sure the notice shows up in every corner of your campus. Hell, even in the media. Don't believe me? Want to try?" Her voice trembled. "No." Willow finally understood I wasn't joking. She glared at me with hatred, eyes full of unwillingness. She said, "Fine. Break up then." I wanted to anyway. Who wants to date a greasy older guy? George, you think you're so great, always dressing like some outdated old man with zero taste. All you've got is money, and I don't care about that. With my senior, at least I feel happy," I replied. "Since that's the case, then take off all the clothes I bought you." Without hesitation, the security guards began stripping off her outerwear. In the end, she was left with only her underwear. I ignored Willow's shouting and cursing. I said, "You opened my wine tonight, totaling $600,000. The bill will be delivered to your school. Pay it back soon, or we'll see each other in court." "George, you bastard." I raised my phone, pretending to dial the police station. She shut her mouth in fear. I said, "Get lost, you pathetic piece of trash." After cursing, I turned back into my room. The early spring night wasn't warm, but a girl like her, who treated money like dirt, should be able to walk barefoot back to campus. Right. Chapter 8. Willow quickly got together with her senior. I heard the senior was from a poor family and needed to apply for social assistance. So-called social assistance meant that an entrepreneur would come to the school for charity, choose one impoverished student, and sponsor them until graduation. This kind of opportunity was rare. There was only one slot. The final round of selection was an interview. Willow and her senior were waiting in the classroom. With a proud face, Willow said, "Senior, you'll definitely be fine. My family knows the school leaders very well." The senior frowned and said, "The problem is, we even faked my family background. Isn't that inappropriate?" She gave a dismissive snort. "Relax. No one's going to check." Clinging affectionately to his arm, she said, "All the connections are ready. What's there to worry about?" As she spoke, the other candidates began to arrive one after another. Among them was Anna. She chose a corner seat and sat alone, her slim figure looking fragile. The senior glanced at her and sighed. "I heard Anna's family is truly struggling." Willow rolled her eyes and said, "So what if she's struggling? With a poor family background and no connections, the spot will never be hers." Willow felt very pleased with herself, but she didn't know. Every word and action of theirs was being broadcast through hidden cameras to the office next door. From the moment they stepped into that classroom, the sponsorship evaluation had already begun. Willow was annoyingly noisy, chattering on. "Senior, your grades and resume are so outstanding. You'll be fine. Those rich people are stupid with money. They won't look too closely. When the sponsor comes, just spin a tragic story, the sadder the better. If it doesn't work, just grab his leg and cry. That's what they fall for." Inside the office, the school leader wiped his sweaty forehead and said, "Mr. Wong, I had no idea these two students were like this. I'll get rid of them right away." I said, "No need." I spoke casually. "The interview can end here," he replied. "All right, this way please." Back in the classroom, Willow was still busy giving her senior advice. The school leader pushed the door open and said, "The sponsor has arrived." Both of their eyes lit up instantly, staring at the doorway. I walked in under their expectant gaze. Chapter 9. This is Mr. George, a shareholder of the Wong Group. Willow's eyes widened. Earlier, I had only told her that I did business and had a bit of money. I never mentioned my ties with the Wong Group. Naturally, she never bothered to check online either. The senior looked dumbfounded. "Junior, so the connection you mentioned was your brother?" Cold sweat ran down Willow's face. Following Willow's own suggestion, the senior suddenly rushed over and clung to my leg, wailing. Speechless, I said, "What are you crying for?" He sobbed. "President Wong, my family is poor." Expressionless, I said, "Enough. Stop acting. The interview is already over." "Huh?" The senior froze, stammering, "Oh, over." I had the staff project onto the blackboard. Everything was replayed, including Willow's words. I said, "From the moment you stepped into this classroom, the interview had already begun." The school leader slammed the table in fury. He roared, "Any students who falsify their background to cheat for assistance, the school will hold them accountable. No leniency." The senior was stunned. A second later, he really cried this time, not acting. I announced the sponsorship recipient. It was a male student from the economics department. Everyone was surprised. By convention, social assistants usually prioritized female students, so many thought Anna was more suitable, but I knew this student's background very well. He had been falsely accused of sexual harassment. Netizens ruthlessly condemned him, and even after investigations cleared his name, many refused to let it go. As a result, his parents were repeatedly reported and lost their jobs, and his grandmother fell ill from the stress and was hospitalized. Meanwhile, the accuser disappeared comfortably. even gaining the chance to study abroad. Without my support, he would have had to drop out next semester, return home, and work to pay for his grandmother's treatment. I didn't want to see an innocent person sink into despair, isolated and helpless under online bullying. So, I wanted to help him rewrite his fate. I signed the sponsorship agreement with him. Then, I endured half an hour of the school leader's apologies. By the time everything was done, it was already evening. Just as I was about to leave, Anna suddenly stopped my car. She pressed her lips together and said, "The spot, won't you reconsider?" Chapter 10. She said, "I really need this chance. I beg you to reconsider." Anna clearly wasn't good at asking for help. Her gaze kept darting away, her hands clenched tight, her voice trembling with nerves. I shook my head. "The agreement is already signed. It can't be changed," she said. "I really don't have money right now." I sighed. "I know, your mother is gravely ill." I had done background checks on everyone. Anna's story was heartbreaking too. She was from a single-parent family. Her mother raised her alone, never had a single good day, and then fell sick. Now, they couldn't even afford treatment. Anna said, "I've already spent all my tuition and scholarship on medical bills. If I don't get sponsorship, I'll have to drop out next semester." I sighed. "I feel sorry for you, but students like you number in the hundreds, if not thousands. I can't help everyone. I'm not capable of it." Over the years, I had been quietly doing charity work. I had already sponsored far more students than she could imagine. Anna lowered her eyes, hiding the embarrassment within them. She pressed her lips together and said, "At Willow's birthday party, you said you were interested in me." I shook my head, cutting her off. "No, that's not the same thing." She bit her lip hard. I said, "If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving." She said, "Wait." Anna suddenly clung to the car window, as if she had made up her mind. She said, "If you keep me, everything Willow could do, I can do too." Chapter 11. Anna came to my place. To ease her nervousness, I opened a bottle of wine for her. After a bit of alcohol, her courage grew. She was shy, her movements hesitant. I said, "It doesn't have to be like this." "Anna, have you never been in a relationship?" She answered softly, a little embarrassed. "No, this is my first time." I asked, "Didn't you say whatever Willow could do, you could do too?" Stung by my words, she fell silent and focused instead, determined not to back down. Seeing her lack of experience, I spoke with patience. "I'll show you how." At first, she was awkward, but Anna was quick to learn. Her innocence soon gave way to a natural rhythm that surprised me. I almost lost control, so I slowed things down and pulled her closer. She lowered her gaze, a faint smile appearing on her lips, and whispered, "Older guy, have you and Willow ever been here before?" I shook my head, not understanding her meaning. That answer, however, seemed to satisfy her. Her voice, soft and breathless, became something I couldn't get enough of. By the time morning came, Anna finally let me rest. When I woke, she was still by my side. I asked, "Why didn't you go back to school?" She huffed lightly. "You still haven't given me an answer." I frowned. "What answer?" The alcohol had worn off, and Anna had returned to her usual cool and composed self, though her lowered eyes still revealed a trace of shyness. She asked, "Did I pass?" I said, "You passed." When I got out of bed, my legs still felt weak. I dated more than a dozen college girls, but Anna was the rare one who could truly match me. I said, "I'll cover your mother's medical bills, your tuition, and your living expenses. This afternoon I'll arrange for your mother to be transferred to a private hospital, into a VIP ward." She said softly. "Thank you," I replied. "No need for thanks. The more effort you give, the more reward you'll receive." Anna began to think about the meaning of this sentence. As she said she understood, she tied up her hair and squatted down again. Chapter 12. I had spent some time with Anna. Unexpectedly, we got along really well. We were like friends who should have met long ago. Anna's attitude toward me changed from guarded to trusting. She often suffered from insomnia in the dormitory, yet by my side, she could fall into a peaceful, steady sleep. The matter of Willow and the senior forging a fake background spread across the entire campus. On the day of the interview, the classroom was packed with people. It was impossible for them not to draw attention. Rumor had it that the two had fallen out. The senior accused Willow of coming up with the bad idea, saying she was a jinx, and that he wouldn't have done it if she hadn't pushed him. And Willow became the public target, isolated and excluded by everyone at school. Both of them received disciplinary records that would stay on file for life. Willow still owed me money for drinks and had no choice but to sell off the things I'd once bought for her. Anna told me all this while I was applying medicine on her. Willow, furious and incompetent, blamed everything on Anna. She even slapped her. As I dabbed on the medicine, I said indignantly, "This isn't over. I have to call the police and get her arrested." Anna pressed her lips together and said, "Call the police? That's not necessary." I'm not badly hurt. I frowned. It has nothing to do with how serious it is. I just can't swallow this anger. Anna looked at me silently. I asked in confusion, why are you staring off? She said, are you angry? Angry for me? I was speechless. Of course. Are you stupid? But Anna wasn't stupid. She was just a little dazed. Her family background wasn't good, and she was raised by a single parent. She'd been bullied plenty in the past. Campus bullying had been a regular part of her life, so she had long since grown used to it. This was the first time someone was angry on her behalf. The feeling was strange, as if something swelled inside her chest, bittersweet and lingering. Anna suddenly threw herself into my arms. I said, wait, I haven't finished applying the medicine. She didn't listen, wrapping her arms around my neck and kissing me messily. She straddled my lap, unusually forward with her hands. I said, Anna, what's going on with you? She took a breath and said, I don't know. I really don't know. Then, in a dazed tone, she said, it feels like only this can calm me down. The medicine bottle fell to the ground. In the end, we turned that kiss into something deeper. Chapter 13. A week later, I accompanied Anna to a competition. She loved cycling, but because of her family situation, she could only ever be a spectator. This was the first time she was able to participate, even as an amateur, though she didn't even own a proper bike. Her entry slot was something I managed to pull strings for. The bike I had given her as a gift. It was a friendly match. Anna joined for the first time and, unexpectedly, did pretty well. She ran up to me holding her participation award. She said, look, I was talking with the organizers, among whom were several of my friends. George, what's your relationship with this contestant? They looked at us curiously. Someone said, is she George's girlfriend? She's really pretty. In the midst of the guessing, a woman suddenly sneered, how could that be? Look at her clothes. They don't even fit properly. Would George really go for her? I recognized this sharp-tongued woman. I had been on a blind date with her once, and it had gone very poorly. Just as the dishes were served, she loftily said to me, I don't really want to get married yet. My parents are just pressuring me, so I'm only here to go through the motions. Let's just meet and be friends. So I didn't give her any face, and immediately had the waiter pack up the food. I said, I don't need a friend like you. Why should I waste my time and money treating you to a meal? I heard she was deeply embarrassed and had held a grudge ever since. Anna's clothes had indeed been borrowed from a classmate and didn't fit well. She glanced at the woman's haute couture outfit and instinctively wanted to leave. She said, I'll just step aside for a bit. Afraid of making me lose face, she turned to go, but I grabbed her back in one swift move. I said, enunciating each word clearly, yes, she is my girlfriend. I pulled Anna to stand in front of my friends, my tone firm. Chapter 14. A few of my friends were stunned, especially that woman, her face full of disbelief. She asked, her, what's so good about her? I smiled and said, what's good? Everything is good. I just like her. Since we had nothing more to say to each other, I said my goodbyes and left with Anna. On the way home, Anna finally came back to her senses. She asked, why did you say that just now? I asked, puzzled. Say what? She said, you said I was your girlfriend. I said, isn't that true? Anna froze for a moment. Then she said, I thought I was just something unpresentable. I added, a kept woman. She said, I laughed. Don't be silly, Anna. You've got great grades. You're beautiful. You have a wonderful figure. What a waste it would be if you weren't my girlfriend. Besides, when did I ever say you were only a kept woman? She was moved, her voice trembling. Really? I said with a straight face. Of course it's true. You're the 12th one I've dated, and also the one I like the most. She asked doubtfully. 12. I scratched my head. Oops, that slipped out. Then I hurried to make up for it. In a few days I'll invite my close friends over for dinner, and I'll officially introduce you to everyone then. To me, whether she was a girlfriend or a kept woman didn't make much difference, but Anna longed for respect deep down, so I gave her respect. When we got home, the women's clothes I had ordered had just been delivered. I told Anna, go try them on. Next time you don't have anything to wear, you must tell me. She said, I can just borrow from someone. These are way too expensive. She glanced at the tags. I chuckled. Every other girl I dated used to clamor for new clothes. The pricier the better. Only Anna complained that the gift was too expensive. I brushed my fingertips across her cheek. I said, if you think it's expensive, then find a way to pay me back. Anna tiptoed up and kissed me. Her cheeks flushed red as she said, I think I'll go take a shower first. I said, go ahead. But she hooked her arms around my neck, her eyes wet as she asked, do you want to shower together? Without a word, I scooped her up and carried her into the bathroom. It turned out to be the longest shower of my life. I realized Anna had been changed by me. She was no longer the shy, naive girl who pressed her lips together in silence. Now, not only does she know how to tease, but she also says things that make me speed up my pace. Daddy, don't do this. Daddy, don't do that. The moment she spoke, it was like an electric current shot straight through my brain. Even though we were already very familiar with each other, she still feigned resistance, half pushing, half accepting. She asked, Daddy, out of the 12, am I the one you like the most? I nodded. Yes, I like you the most. I didn't know how long had passed. Panting, I said, Anna, I really can't go on. I leaned weakly against the bathtub, feeling like I had reached my limit, but Anna said, I'll take care of it myself. You don't need to move. I was speechless. Still going. She said, Yes, it's not enough. She added softly, Daddy, actually during the day, I already imagined this scene. I was stunned. When? She said, When I reached the finish line and saw you waiting for me. Anna's voice was very low, very gentle. She said, I didn't win a ranking, but you were truly happy for me in that moment. Looking at you, I felt something strange swelling inside my heart. She said, I wanted to give you everything of mine. With that, she lowered her head shyly. I cupped her chin, swallowing her sobs and joy whole. Chapter 15. Anna herself didn't know what exactly she meant by those words. It wasn't quite a confession, but it was even more than a confession. At first, she only saw George as a boss. She never thought about dating him. She had assumed it would be difficult, but the first time they spent the night together, she was shocked to feel the changes inside her heart and body. She didn't need to deliberately please him. She simply drowned in the sea of desire. The way she couldn't get enough of him wasn't an act. She liked his reckless and unrestrained side, and also liked seeing him calm, composed, and confident. Anna didn't realize it, but she just happened to like the older guy type. Or maybe her true nature had always been buried, only unearthed when she met George. But, things gradually went off track. They connected too well. George felt like the soulmate she had missed for years. Their bodies were perfectly matched too. When she couldn't see him, she began to miss him. Miss his focused expression. Miss the feeling of his hand on her waist. Anna always had to find some way to ease her emotions. It wasn't right. Sometimes, just sitting next to George, doing nothing, hearing his voice, Anna would feel like the world was beautiful. Until today, when she learned she was only the 12th one, jealousy exploded within her. Am I the best one? Will he like me the most? These questions spun in her mind endlessly. Eventually, they turned into bite marks on his shoulder and scratches on his back, until she heard George say, Yes, I like you the most. In that moment, her heart swelled full, her whole body shivering as if electrified. Even if she died right then, it felt worth it. George had bought her many gifts. Anna suddenly wanted to give him something too, as a token of love. She calculated seriously. 10 years of age difference. Just right. She would work hard. As long as he didn't despise her immaturity, everything would be fine. Chapter 16. Anna became very busy. She picked up part-time jobs and side work again. She said she didn't want to always spend my money. She wanted to earn money to buy me things too. This was truly refreshing. I'd never met a girl like her. I asked my buddy David about it. He sucked in a breath and said, George, she's going to cling to you. I asked, puzzled. What? He said. Obviously, she doesn't want to just be your kept woman. I said doubtfully. Really? I thought she was planning to pay me back and then run off. David rolled his eyes. I can't believe you. If she wanted to run, she wouldn't be buying you gifts. There's only one explanation. She wants to officially secure a place at your side. I asked. How do you know so much? He cleared his throat and said, Well, to be honest, my fiancé was once in the same situation. As he spoke, his girlfriend came out carrying tea and snacks, a stunning beauty with delicate features. She had once been one of David's kept women too. Now, she was his fiancé. David wrapped his arm around her and said, Guess what she did when she fell in love with me? Before I could answer, his fiancé started counting on her fingers. Studied, worked, made money. I wanted to be worthy of David, so I had to improve myself, David said earnestly. In my opinion, your little Sue is just entering this stage now. I chuckled, not entirely convinced. After all, Anna had said herself, 10 years older. Even dogs wouldn't get into this kind of relationship. I originally planned to just have a meal with David before leaving, but midway through, he checked his phone and suddenly called out to me. George, is your little Sue named Anna Sue? I replied. Yes, why? He said. Look at this quickly. His face turned grave as he pushed the phone in front of me. It was a live stream. An old man with graying hair stood on a rooftop, tears streaming down his face. In his hand was a photo. He said, Everyone, look closely. This is my unfilial daughter Anna. If I die today, it will be because she drove me to it. Chapter 17. The number of viewers in the live stream kept soaring. I glanced at the bullet comments and roughly understood the situation. The old man claimed to be Anna's biological father. He said Anna was cold and indifferent, ignoring her own family. When Anna's brother fell seriously ill, the old father, desperate, asked her for help, but she avoided him. Left with no choice, he climbed to the rooftop, threatening death. Anna's name quickly shot to the top of the trending list on the short video platform. Many netizens, outraged, wrote, "Can't stand this kind of unfilial daughter. Even breathing is a waste of air. Already found it. Finance Department of C University. The school has been notified officially. Waiting for a result. Poor old man. He's been driven to a dead end." But some remained calm, posting, "Suggest everyone not to take sides so easily. Haven't we seen enough reversals these days?" Just a whisper. But this old man has been live streaming for a long time, always criticizing his daughter, yet never taking a step forward. Still, they were quickly drowned out and attacked by the crowd. Someone commented, "Do you people even have a conscience? The old man can't go on living. What kind of reversal could there be? If you're defending her, then you must be the same kind of person as Anna." Public opinion surged like a beast tide, fierce and merciless. I lost my appetite and prepared to head home immediately. I said, "David, before I leave, I want to ask you for a favor." He nodded. "Understood." There was a tacit understanding between me and David. I didn't need to explain. He said, "This kind of suicide live stream violates platform rules. I'll find someone to see if we can shut it down first." Thanks. 15 minutes later, I arrived home. Anna didn't have class today. The curtains were drawn, filling the house with a gloomy air. She sat on the carpet, and when she heard me come in, she didn't react. I didn't waste words and went straight to the point. "Is Jordan Sue your father?" She nodded. "Yes." The answer surprised me. I said, "You told me you only had a mother, no father." She said, "I lied. I'm sorry." I sat down beside her and asked, "Tell me, what happened?" She looked surprised. "I lied to you. Aren't you angry?" I said, "Not enough to be. I want to hear your explanation first." I smiled. "We daddies usually keep our emotions stable." Anna pressed her lips together and said, "That man is a nightmare for me and my mom. I'm an illegitimate child." I said, "Pretty common, an illegitimate daughter." She shook her head. "No, it's a little different." Taking a deep breath, Anna slowly said, "My mother was forced." Chapter 18. My eyes widened instantly. I couldn't believe my ears, nor did I dare repeat that word. She said, "When she was 18, she was forced because she was poor. She never went to college. She didn't know how to protect herself. And just like that, she muddled through life and gave birth to me." Anna's tone was very calm, as if this matter had been carving her heart into pieces for 20 years. She said, "Jordan never once cared about us. Never. He even threatened us. If we dared to ruin his family, he would drag us down with him. He's an extreme person. My mother feared he would really come after me, so she had no choice but to take me away from that city and live elsewhere." I asked, "Then why has he suddenly come to you now? For what?" She said, "A kidney transplant." She said, "His son has uremia. He wants me to get tested. If I match, he wants one of my kidneys for his son." When I refused, today's incident happened. Rage burned through me. Was this even human? This was a filthy, despicable parasite, stripped of the most basic humanity. I forced myself to think of countermeasures. I said, "Judging from today's live stream, he has backing behind him." The hype was strong, professional, even. She nodded. "Yes, I sensed it too." I asked, "What are you planning to do now?" She said, "I don't know. I thought about clarifying, but that would mean exposing my mother's past. For elders, that was a painful ordeal. Anna loved her mom deeply. She definitely didn't want to do that." She said, choking up, "Daddy, let's break up. Being with you is no longer a secret. Jordan will find you sooner or later. I don't want to drag you down. Not at all." Chapter 19. I didn't agree to Anna's proposal. The kept woman I raised had been bullied outside. What I needed to do was help her strike back, not abandon her. David had already found someone to temporarily shut down Jordan Sue's live stream room, so he switched to posting text and photo videos instead. The words were highly inflammatory. If he didn't have someone backing him, I wouldn't believe it. But having backing made things easier. In less than 3 days, the company behind him was exposed. Under the heavy pressure of the Wong family, the company immediately decided to cut ties with Jordan. Without backing, Jordan continued posting on his own, only for netizens to discover contradictions everywhere, his words inconsistent and self-contradictory. That wasn't all. With my encouragement, Anna eventually published a clarification. She left out her mother's ordeal for now. Public opinion gradually began to shift. Meanwhile, we filed a police report. Thanks to Jordan's over-the-top hype, the police sped up their investigation. In less than a week, the police released an official statement in white text on a blue background. Everything Anna had said was true. For 20 years, Jordan had never once called her, never given her a cent in support. This whole live stream show was just to force Anna into giving up a kidney. On top of that, Jordan was now suspected of manipulating public opinion, spreading false rumors, committing fraud, and of rape. He would face further investigation. The entire internet was in an uproar. Those who had cursed Anna were thoroughly slapped in the face. From start to finish, the whole ordeal lasted just over a week. Not very long, but only Anna herself knew how agonizing it had been. The doubts of her classmates, the abuse from netizens, and in front of her ailing mother, she had to smile, all while guarding her closely so she wouldn't see the news. That week nearly wore Anna down to nothing. On the evening when the police statement came out, Anna finally set down her burden. Chapter 20. But none of us expected it. This matter was still not over. Jordan was temporarily detained by the police. His son's hope for a kidney transplant was gone. On Friday night, Anna was working at the restaurant. An uninvited guest arrived. That woman ordered a pot of soup. When Anna brought the soup over, she asked, "Are you Anna?" Anna instinctively answered, "Yes, I am." Suddenly, the woman went mad and poured the entire pot of hot soup over Anna. Just as I entered the restaurant, I witnessed this scene. Anna's neck and the back of her hands, which were exposed, instantly turned red with burns. But that wasn't enough. The woman rushed to the next table, grabbed their dishes, and smashed everything onto Anna's head. She screamed furiously, "Why won't you give my son a kidney? And now you've even gotten my husband locked up. You shameless thing. You owe our family. It must have been your mother seducing my husband, otherwise how could my husband have wanted her?" Filthy words, unbearable to hear. I rushed over and knocked her to the ground with one punch. The crazed woman was stunned. She shrieked, "Who are you?" I said, "Anna is my girlfriend." She sneered, "Oh, even trash like this has someone who wants her." Before she could finish, I gave her a few more heavy blows. She was beaten so badly she had no strength to fight back, clutching her head as she tried to run. But how could I let her escape? When I entered, I had already notified the police station at the fastest speed. Just as she ran out the door, the officers arrived, provoking trouble. Intentional assault, she had to be detained too. Once the woman was handled, I turned back to Anna. Damn, my kept woman seemed to have shut down again. Chapter 21. Anna stood frozen in place, not moving at all. Vegetables and bits of egg still clung to her body. Hot soup dripped down from the ends of her hair. She was filthy. Her skin burned painfully from the scalding. There were many onlookers, including her co-workers, but everyone kept their distance. No one stepped forward. Anna had already felt it during these days of part-time work. Even though the police had cleared her name, people still didn't want to interact with her. Humans are complicated creatures. Online, they could freely lash out with their mouths. Offline, they would rather avoid trouble than get involved. She overheard the whispers. Someone said, "Hey, maybe we should just fire her." "Yeah, keeping her here will only bring more trouble in the future," another person said. "Anyway, I don't really believe the police report. To drive a father to that point, could she really be completely blameless?" "Shoo, quiet. Don't let her hear." Anna felt anger and humiliation. She was like an isolated island, cut off by everyone. At that moment, someone walked through the murmurs and criticisms, and held her hand tightly. "Does it hurt?" I looked down at her, my gaze filled with heartache. Chapter 22. I first took Anna to the hospital. Fortunately, the burns weren't serious and wouldn't leave scars. Then I accompanied her to the police station to give her statement. The police asked her to consider whether she wanted to reconcile. Anna turned to look at me. She said, "I'm conflicted. The one at fault isn't her, it's Jordan. But she insulted my mom." I shook my head. "No, she's an accomplice," I explained. "Jordan destroyed someone's life, and she shifted the blame onto the victim. That's accomplice behavior." Anna finally decided not to reconcile. By the time we walked out of the police station, it was already night. The moon was bright, the stars sparse. I asked her, "What are you going to do about this part-time job?" She said, "I'll have to resign. Actually, I've already received an internship offer at a securities firm. I was planning to quit next week anyway. It was a major securities company, one that even graduates fought tooth and nail to get into." Anna's outstanding grades had earned her a 3-month summer internship. It hadn't been easy for her to get to this point. I said sincerely, "Congratulations. I hope everything waiting for you ahead is a bright future." "Oh, right." Anna suddenly pulled a belt out of her bag. I knew the brand, very expensive. She said, "I saved up my part-time wages to buy you a gift." I said, "What a coincidence. I was just thinking about replacing my belt. I was going to buy one tomorrow." I immediately pulled off the old one and fastened the new belt around my waist. Her eyes shone bright, like a pool of pure spring water. She asked, "Do you like it?" I smiled. "I like it very much." Holding her in my arms, I said. Come on, let's go home. Chapter 23. That night, Anna woke from a nightmare. I got up and poured her a glass of water. She whispered. Sorry, I woke you up. I said. It's fine, no work tomorrow. What nightmare was it? Tell me. Anna hesitated, then said, nothing. I said. Even if you don't say it, I can guess. She tilted her head. No way. I said. You dreamed of being a child, of your mother abandoning you, didn't you? Anna stared at me in astonishment. I said. I told you. I can guess. She asked. How do you know? I said. Because I understand you, Anna. You've always felt like you shouldn't have been born, that you're the source of your mother's pain. Your greatest fear is that even your mother won't want you. All your life, you've worked so hard, studied so diligently, tried to be a good girl, all just to make her happy, right? Anna's breathing grew rapid, a sign of her emotions rising. She nodded furiously. All true. I reached out and touched her cheek. I said. Your fears are unnecessary. She's an incredible mother. She raised you so gently, nurtured you to be this outstanding. In the darkness, Anna said nothing. She leaned her face against my shoulder and said, Daddy, I always have a crazy thought. I asked. What is it? She said. If I drained half the blood from my body, would I become cleaner? I enunciated each word. You were pure and clean from the start. Her breathing halted, and she buried her face deeper. After a while, I felt dampness. It was Anna's tears. She buried her head, crying quietly. She said, George, thank you for understanding me. Chapter 24. David once said, when the kept woman no longer calls you older guy, that's the signal she's in love with you. Ever since Anna started her internship, she rarely called me that anymore. Only occasionally, in bed, when deliberately flirting, would she say it once or twice. Our lives returned to peace. Jordan and his people stopped bothering us. But one day, when I left the office, I unexpectedly ran into Willow. She was talking to Anna. Anna had come today to wait for me after work. She was wearing a black fitted dress, her long legs making her stand out in the crowd. Neither of them noticed me. I slipped around the doorway and happened to catch their conversation. Willow said, George only sees you as a plaything. Do you really think he likes you? Anna snorted lightly. Even as a plaything, there's a difference between favored and unfavored. Willow rolled her eyes. Sis, just look at how I ended up. Dating an old man like him never ends well. Anna retorted, 30 is old. What? Are you not planning to live to 30? Or planning to die at 30? Willow was choked silent, gritting her teeth. What kind of potion did that dog of a man George feed you to make you so obsessed? Anna replied. You were the same. Willow said. I'm not like you, Anna asked. Then why did you come looking for him? She stammered. I came to. Anna chuckled softly. You came to get back together with him, right? With one look she saw through it. You can't hide it from me. Willow, guilty, still denied it. I'm not. I don't want him. Anna cut her off. Ever since I've been with George, I've always wondered, how did you ever break up with him? He's so good, so caring, mature, and calm. Where else would you find such a good man? But lucky for me, your blindness gave me the chance to take your place. Provoked, Willow flared up. You're the blind one. Isn't he just a man with some filthy money? I can't stand how fake he acts. Anna shot back. If you had money, you'd act faker than him. Willow frowned. And what about when work goes badly and he vents his anger? That's not a flaw. Anna shook her head. Nope. What's wrong with venting? Pressure should be released. Willow said. You're hopeless. He also always wants to do that thing anytime, anywhere, like a lunatic. Realizing she shouldn't have said that, Willow stopped talking. Anna suddenly sneered. On the contrary, I think he has it tough. Needing to release is normal, and I enjoy it. I'm more than willing to cooperate. You don't understand what true harmony between partners means. So stop blaming others. Willow was about to explode with rage. She shouted. Anna, you once said, 10 years older. Even dogs wouldn't get into this kind of relationship. Anna rolled her eyes and said, woof. Chapter 25. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, Anna graduated from her senior year. I had been with her for 2 years. On the day her mother finally recovered, I laid out the original relationship agreement. I said, until your mother is discharged, either party has the right to end this relationship. Anna asked doubtfully, what do you mean, end it? I said, this was what you proposed back then. She said aggrievedly. I didn't know better at the time. I said, you already have money, and your mother has been discharged. Anna staggered, almost unable to stand. She grabbed my sleeve, her voice trembling. What do you mean, George? What do you mean? You don't want me anymore? Anna, I said, enunciating each word. I'm going on a blind date. I said, if I want to firmly secure my position in the Wong family, I need an ally. And Anna, for now, couldn't help me with that. Last month, my father brought up the blind date. Above me was an older brother, seasoned in the business world. Below me was a younger brother, a genius. In everyone's eyes, each of them seemed more suitable than me to inherit the family business, but I insisted on fighting for it. I wanted to be the successor. Ambition and honor, I couldn't have both. After a month of consideration, in the end, I chose ambition. Anna nearly collapsed. I can help you. I can become your ally too. I sighed. It's too late. The truth was, I couldn't bear to part with Anna either. She was the one I dated the longest, so long that I had already considered her my real girlfriend. But in the end, love could never be more important to me than my career. Please, give me a little more time, I said apologetically. I'm sorry. I have to move forward. I can't stay in the same place. Tears streaming down her face, Anna threw herself into my arms, stripping off her clothes and dress. She was more proactive than ever before. I understood her pain. We stayed up all night, and at sunrise the next day, I quietly left. Blind dates were nothing but games, exchanges of resources. Every meal with my blind date was filled with toasts and negotiations. Only interests, never romance. The cooperation was finalized. I married hastily. Don't be surprised. Since I chose ambition, I had to bear everything that came with it. On my wedding day, someone said Anna had shown up. I didn't see her, though I thought I caught a glimpse of her back. In the 6 months since we parted, she had grown rapidly, like the roots of a great tree, frantically absorbing nutrients, building her own career. She grew faster than anyone expected. Half a year after the marriage, I became the largest shareholder of the Wang family. But with my wife, I still had little to say. I knew she was scheming against me. Since our marriage was built on interests, it wasn't surprising she plotted. If she had been restrained, I would have pretended not to notice. But she was too greedy. She even wanted a share of what I held. Didn't she understand? If not for that share, I would never have married her. She wasn't even worth a single finger of Anna's. Why was I thinking of Anna again? I gazed out the window, weary. After all the deception and schemes, the curtain was about to fall. Today, either I lived, or my wife died. Someone had to win. At the shareholders' meeting, the atmosphere was extremely tense. No one was willing to give in. My wife had allied with my younger brother, nearly forcing me into a dead end, just as they were about to win. Suddenly the door swung open. Anna stood at the entrance and slowly declared, "Miss Kim, prepare for crisis management." My wife and brother froze. Then their phones exploded with calls. Kim's newly launched product was exposed, accused of stealing ideas and deceiving consumers. Pushed to the center of the storm. "You," my wife glared at Anna. "You did this. You're George's ex-girlfriend." Anna only smiled faintly, neither admitting nor denying. The wind lifted the curtains as she walked step by step toward me. The scene reminded me of when she once joined that race. Back then too, she had run toward the finish line, radiant. Toward me, she said, "Daddy, can you divorce her now?" Chapter 26. The Kim family was deeply mired in a PR crisis, scrambling in panic. On the day of the divorce, she pointed at me furiously, cursing, "You've been scheming against me from the very beginning." I shrugged. "You just realized," I said. "How could you be so stupid, letting my brother trick you until your brain turned to mush?" She tried to slap me, but I caught her and slapped her back with a sharp smack. I tossed out a stack of photos, all images of her secret meetings with my brother. I said, "If you don't want these exposed, behave yourself and agree to the divorce." She no longer dared to act rashly. If a scandal broke out now, the Kim family would be beyond saving. I smoothly obtained the divorce certificate. To buy back the photos, the Kim family even paid me a hefty hush fee. A flash marriage followed by a flash divorce. Some said I was a joke in the circle, but I didn't care, and Anna didn't care. Worldly morals couldn't sway me in the slightest. It is only by extraordinary people that extraordinary deeds are done. With extraordinary deeds, extraordinary achievements are established. Anna, seeking credit, asked me. I did pretty well in this battle, didn't I? I pinched her cheek. "Excellent. You've been with me for 2 years, it shows." Anna has always been the best. She tilted her head, smiling. "Thanks to your teaching, following me, Anna had learned a lot. She was clever. Her maneuvers in business wars were sharp and flawless." Anna threw herself into my arms. The living room became a mess from us. I carried her into the bedroom. With each step, her heart pounded, and she felt my searing heat with every movement. She whispered, "Was she the 13th? I asked. "Who?" Suddenly, I realized she was asking about my ex-wife. She was jealous again, I said. "No, she wasn't. I found her filthy. I never touched her." "You're the last one." The shadows on Anna's face vanished. She said, "Did you miss me?" I said, "Yes." She whispered, "I missed you too." Her hazy voice brushed against my ear as she murmured, "It's been a year. Daddy, please, hurt me." We sank into the night, revisiting each other's bodies. Our long hunger was finally sated. Anna nestled in my arms and said, "Daddy, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." "George," she whispered it over and over. I said, "I love you too." Chapter 27. Later, I told Anna, when I rushed into that marriage, I was already prepared for divorce. My original plan was, after becoming the largest shareholder, I'd divorce, then get back together with her. Anna was a little surprised. She asked, "So, I was always part of your plan?" I nodded. "Yes." She asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" I said, "If I had told you beforehand, who knows if you might have disrupted my plan, and then you wouldn't have been able to give me such an amazing performance later on." She puffed up her cheeks angrily. I was sad for a whole year. I spread my hands. "Serves you right. Who told you to look down on me before?" She frowned. "When did I ever look down on you?" 10 years older. Even dogs wouldn't get into this kind of relationship. I slowly repeated the words. Anna was stunned. "How did you know?" I said. "That day, Willow forgot to hang up the call. I heard everything you two said," she said aggrievedly. "I was wrong, actually. I only said that to mock Willow. I couldn't stand her, having a boyfriend but still flirting with a gaming booster. It really wasn't aimed at you." I smiled. "I know. It's all in the past." At first, because of that remark, I didn't think well of Anna. When I first approached her, I really did intend to play and then toss her aside. But after deeper contact, I realized she wasn't like that. She deserved to be treated sincerely. Anna answered. "What is it?" The next second, I suddenly pulled out a diamond ring. "Will you marry me?" She was shocked. "Have you really thought this through? Our families are mismatched. Won't it affect your position in the Wang family?" I smiled. "I've thought it through long ago. None of that matters." I kissed the back of her hand and said, "Anna, please let me love you forever." She accepted my ring. The sunset was beautiful that day, just like the day she once ran toward me. With a bright smile, she said, "Yes,